轉下眼嗬 ，with a blink of an eye， 轉下眼已經第6日啦。Blink of an eye is day 6 already。咁呢個今日呢個開始咧，已經係《法華經》嘅最尾嘅一個開始啦。This is the last discourse of the Lotus Sutra. There won't be any more tomorrow. Tomorrow I won't be talking. If you will be talking. 聽日輪到你哋講，唔到我講啦嘛。Right? It's your turn to talk tomorrow, right? I told you on day 1 that you have to share with everybody about your feeling of this auspicious reading ceremony. 所以聽日由你哋講噶啦，聽日你哋要分享一下你喺呢6日讀法華經嘅心得啦、啟發啦、感想啦、感受啦等等。OK， 考試咯喎，test time。好，十法界 10 Dharma Realms。十法界有邊10個啊 ？Which 10? Starting from high above. Buddha, 菩薩 Bodhisattva, 聲聞 Pratyeka Buddha, yeah. 緣覺 the 4th? No, that's the 3rd. Shravaka, yeah. 然後到乜嘢啊？到天。What's the 5th one? Gods, okay. 人 human, 阿修羅 Asuras, yeah, very good. 畜生 animals, hungry ghosts. They very good. 你睇下佢哋唔識聽中文都識記得。So you very good. You did very well. I said you cannot cheat because they are talking about in Chinese, right? You cannot cheat. Oh, did you? Oh, so you knew that I was going to ask this question, huh? 好叻啊，嗬。Okay. 十如是 the 10 suchness characteristics. 如是 nature. 如是睇。唔好偷睇啊 ！Cheating， OK。作之後到乜嘢啊？作 ，oh yeah, sorry. And then the cause, conditions. Yeah, very good. I know. Okay. So. Remember the formula？ 記得琴晚嗰個方程式嘛？總共有幾多界啊 ？How many Dharma Realms？ 然後有4個字，邊個講乜嘢？百界千餘。So there are how many Dharma Realms? How many suchness? 10? No. Remember on the bottom of the slide? 1 times 10 times 10 equals to 100, and then, so it's 100 Dharma Realms and how many suchness? 1,000. Very good. Very good. Okay. Tomorrow each one of you will have a chocolate if I do have some. But I doubt that I will have some chocolate enough for you guys to share. So remember, 記住呢個方程式啦喎，記住呢個方程式就係點啊 ？So remember this formula. One Dharma Realm. In each Dharma Realm there is 10 other Dharma Realms, 9 other Dharma Realms. Times 10, that means 100 Dharma Realm. And in each Dharma Realm, there is 10 suchness, right? So it's 1,000 suchness. Is it just 1,000? 係咪淨係1000啊？琴晚講過，唔係啊？點樣啊？ infinite 㗎，係啊，無窮無盡㗎。因為我哋每一個人啊，喺心入邊嗰個十法界，實在係可以無窮無盡嘅。所以喺呢度就係話，呢個法華經入邊講啊，嗰個諸法嘅實相，就話俾我哋聽，諸法嘅實相就係十如是。而我哋每一個人喺每一個當下嗰個心入邊係有佢嘅法界啊。So in the Lotus Sutra, remember, it says that the real truth of existence is the 10 suchness, and at any moment of time, for example, in our human body right now, we could have any other Dharma realm, right? So this is an infinite. 所以呢個十如是啊，《法華經》入邊講呢個十如是，實在係佛話俾我哋聽。希望我哋從呢一個十如是十法界入邊，我哋明白多少少，原來佛陀個智慧係咁深、係咁廣、咁遠啊。So in this Lotus Sutra, the exposition of the Dharma, the way the Dharma is, the truth of the Dharma is of these 10 suchness, with these 10 Dharma realms, and with these comprehension, hopefully we will start to actually have a little bit more and deeper penetrating power to see the wisdom, how wide, how deep, and how infinite the wisdom of the Buddha is. Okay? 好 good. 好啦，我哋第一日都講過啦。第一日都講過係三會成為一，係咪？三會成為一，即係話咧，開權顯實，開權顯實，開權顯實，即係咩意思啊？用一啲方便嘅法門去話俾我哋聽，呢個究竟嘅法門究竟係乜嘢？呢個真實嘅相係乜嘢？咁所以喺整本嘅《法華經》入邊係好多嘅方便嘅法門，讓透過好多嘅古仔啦。好多個譬喻啦，好多嘅法嘅表達啦，讓我哋明白透過啲種種嘅方便嘅法門，讓我哋明白真真正正究竟嘅法門係咪？究竟嘅法係乜嘢？嚇，所以叫開權顯實就係咁嘅意思。So in the Lotus Sutra, it used a lot of, remember the first night I said it used a lot of skillful means. For example, similes, stories, and other way to expound the Dhamma, so that we can actually use those simile stories and techniques to actually understand the way of this ultimate truth is, how they are. 我琴晚講過一個啦。好最尾係做終結嘅，我話我自己好中意呢四句偈。佢若人散亂心，入於塔廟中，一稱南無佛，皆已成佛道。所以呢個咧就係呢個係其中一個喺53頁就係呢個方便品嗰度咧，佢就講咗好多呢啲嘅方便嘅法門。細路仔堆沙啦，用沙嚟堆成佛塔啦，佢已經心種善根啦。無論你用磚瓦啦、用沙啦，或者用木啦，起佛塔啊，起塔起佛廟嗰個已經點啊？已經皆已成佛道啊！咁所以嗱，呢啲所有呢啲咧就係點啊？呢啲叫開權啦，呢叫方便法啊！方便唔係話convenient 嗰個方便啊，而係好有智慧嘅一種方法。點啊？邊啲眾生嘅根器係乜嘢嘅咧？就用嗰個方便嘅法門去度化嗰種眾生。咁你諗下啦，呢幾日我講嘅嘢，你明白到幾多啊？明白全部明白嘅，你舉下手嚟睇下啦。冇人敢舉咧。OK， 嗱，如果明白到有7成以上嘅或者5成以上嘅，你舉下手嚟睇下啦。咁好啦，係咪？咁你點解咧？有故仔聽，係咪？而且講嘅方法係比較淺白一啲， 冇好似祖師大德，你去睇下，你去睇下其餘嗰啲祖師大德講嘅法花文獻啦，睇到你真係頭都大埋，因為全部都係點啊文言文嚟嘅，咁你根本真係好難睇得明。咁就係亦都係等於喺《法華經》入邊講，佛陀用種種嘅方便法門，係讓不同嘅根器嘅眾生，根器即係話我哋有啲冇咁叻啦，冇咁叻並不表示蠢 ，OK， 冇咁叻啦，或者係接收能力冇咁快啦，又或者有啲人係喺呢個方面真係唔識嘅，你點講都唔得噶啦，咁你要俾一個方便法門。記得好似我喺42章經咁講。具行法師親近虛雲老和尚嘅時候，佢咩都唔識，佢文盲噶嘛。虛雲老和尚淨係舉咗一句説話，佢就係南無阿彌陀佛，叫佢淨係念嗰句。咁你諗下，具行法師可以由嗰句説話而開悟，而到最尾係用自己嘅三昧火龍，用自己去焚燒嘅。咁你諗下嗰個修行嘅力幾大？唔好因為一個人文盲你而睇低佢，但係亦都唔好因為話我文盲啊，我就好似以為我好似祖師大德咁叻㗎啦。因為我文盲，所以我可能會有機會開悟。你諗下啦。如果你唔係好似嗰啲祖師大德咁樣咁忍辱負重嘅話，你根本冇機會。所以就係話呢個開權顯實呢樣嘢，就係整個《法華經》嘅好重要嘅一個要義。就係用一個好方便嘅法門門路，讓我哋去明白。讓我哋明白咗之後點樣啊？即係等於細路仔咁啊！阿爸叫快啲出嚟啦，快出嚟入邊大火啊！火雜品入邊咪係咯，大火你快出嚟啦！佢肯點都唔肯出啊，因為諗住阿爸咧佢。咁啊有牛車有牛車馬車嚇，羊車有大白牛車大白馬車，咁氹咗佢出嚟。氹佢出嚟先至可以逃離火宅啊！所以我哋嘅眾生個人嘅根器唔同，所以佛陀就個智慧就係見到邊個眾生嘅有啲咩根器就教佢啲乜嘢，呢個就叫開權。最終就係點啊？顯實就係希望佢喺呢個方便法門度學到之後，佢慢慢就步入佛道，就係等於點啊？有人散亂心入於塔廟中，一稱南無佛皆已成佛道。嗱，佢有人散亂咁亂晒咯，入到塔廟入邊，佢見好莊嚴啊，或者一低頭一舉手，或者一清明，即係身口意上面，無論佢點樣，佢一生起一個恭敬心點啊？佢已經心種一個成佛嘅種子。呢個就係呢個多種方便法。Okay, so this is the skillful means, as I said last night. The skillful means are a way to actually allow the defiled, ignorant beings to come closer to the Dharma, and then hopefully will lead them to what? To the path of attainment to Buddha nature, the Buddhahood. So in the Lotus Sutra, there are many of these skillful means, right? You remember on the chapter 2, you can actually read that. Like last night, I have talk about that, but this is the verse that I really like. If anyone, even while distracted, enters a stupa or a temple and even once exclaims, Namo Buddha, they have fulfilled the Buddha way. Okay, so there are actually many of these skillful ways. Why are there so many skillful ways? Because there are so many different kind of sentient beings who have different levels of ability to understand the Dharma. So some may be able to understand a very deep Dharma, profound Dharma in very, very early stage, but some may not be able to understand. So all these skillful ways really means to actually allow the Dharma, allow these people with different capacities or different abilities to actually approach the Dharma and hopefully eventually lead them to this ultimate path of enlightenment. Okay? So these are the skillful means. So remember the whole, really in the Lotus Sutra, there are many of these skillful means. Actually, throughout the whole Lotus Sutra, you can see. And you can see how actually compassionate the Buddha was to expound this kind of Dhamma, to encompass, to actually embrace, to include all beings with all level of abilities. All right? OK， 所以呢個經啊，呢個經又嗱，大家都讀咗26品啊，仲有2品咧，嗰2品好短嘅啫。咁實在由第1品你讀到而家，你都會睇到啦。實在喺呢部經入邊咧，一咁強調佛陀咧實在唔係淨係今生先成佛嘅，唔係2600年前先成佛，佢係已經無量咁多劫已經成佛。佢係好長期咁用種種嘅方便嘅法門咧，係讓我哋點啊？讓我哋還劣嘅眾生咧，希望我哋能夠度化我哋還劣嘅眾生。So throughout this whole sutra, you have already read until the chapter 26. You should have actually got an idea that actually the Buddha did not really just become Buddha in this lifetime. He has become a Buddha for a long, long time already, eons. And why would he repeatedly become a Buddha in this lifetime he became a Buddha again? Because he wanted us. He wanted all these ignorant beings to actually encounter his words, encounter his teachings. So one day we will be liberated like him. 所以啊，就喺呢一生我哋碰到嘅釋迦牟尼佛嘅，你睇到佢個壽命好短啫，得80歲啫嘛，係咪啊？得80歲，咁但係佢嘅法身係長住嘅。我哋所以話呢個佢個應身佛啊係好短嘅，應身佛就係話佢個肉身有嘅肉身嘅生命叫應身，咁啊只係得80年，即係等於我哋咁啊，有80歲啊或者90歲啊咁。但係我哋未有法身喎，我哋未成佛喎。但係佛陀嘅法身佛咧就係點啊？好長遠㗎啦。咁咧就係象徵乜嘢咧？就係象徵佛咧就係喺呢個時間同埋空間性咧，根本係無限咁長遠嘅。咁啊就係亦都係好似我琴晚咁講，佢嘅智慧、佢嘅慈悲亦都係無限。OK 嗱 ，so the Buddha in this era that we have known, the Buddha is Shakyamuni Buddha, but in his physical life he only had 80 years of life. So that was very limited. But yet, the Dharma life of the Dharma age of a Buddha, or we call the Dharma body of a Buddha, actually is eons, kalpas. So what does it illustrate? It actually illustrates the space and the time in the Buddha sense, in his Dharma life, is infinite also. So last night, remember, I just talked about that, the compassion and the wisdom of the Buddha is infinite. So as his actually Dharma life is also infinite, his Dharma body is also infinite. Okay? 所以我哋今生我哋遇到釋迦牟尼佛，我哋就睇到啦。我哋真係要成佛嘅話，我哋要點啊？我哋最少要學習修菩薩行。你睇下今生我哋見到嘅釋迦牟尼佛就係點啊？多生多世以菩薩行去示現，然後喺呢一生再示現釋迦牟尼佛俾我哋睇。咁所以呢個菩薩道呢個實踐啊，對我哋嚟講啊，係一個好重要嘅一個修道嘅行徑嚟嘅。喺呢個法華經入邊，亦都係顯示咗好多菩薩行嘅行徑俾我哋睇。So in this Lotus Sutra, or I should say, the Buddha actually in this lifetime or in many of his past lifetime, he has demonstrated, in order to become or to attain the Buddhahood, one has to actually sacrifice oneself, like a Bodhisattva. Okay, remember one lifetime, he actually threw himself into the cave to feed the what? The tiger. Yeah, because the mother tiger was very hungry and no milk to feed the baby tigers. So And so in this lifetime, he actually, throughout his teachings, he actually taught us we need to understand the truth pertaining to our living, to our life, and also we have to actually sacrifice ourselves also. Okay? So that means we need to walk on this Bodhisattva path also. That's why he has so many skillful means to lead us to become a Bodhisattva and then eventually to become a Buddha. Okay. 所以我哋喺呢度咧，喺方便品入邊，我哋明白到咧好多嘢咧，好多都係讓我哋點啊？讓我哋學習點樣成經過菩薩道之後再成佛道啊。So in the second chapter or so. And also towards the end, many chapters, there are actually, he actually showed us how we could actually cultivate the Bodhisattva path, and also with the Bodhisattva path, how we can actually enhance ourselves to become a Buddha. Okay? You're still with me so far? 你仲喺度係嘛？啊 ，OK。好啦，喺呢個都喺方便品嗰度啊！方便品嗰度咧，佢差唔多係結品嗰陣時咧，佢有講過。佢話我讀俾大家聽，佢話：汝等舍利弗，聲聞及菩薩，當知是妙法，諸佛之必要。以五濁惡世，但樂着諸欲，如是等眾生，終不求佛道啊！In the Lotus Sutra on chapter 2, there are actually very important paragraph that one should know, and one should be aware, and one should constantly remind oneself why we cannot attain the Buddhahood. 我哋要明白點解我哋係入唔到佛道，就係因為點解啊？就係因為我哋喺呢個五濁惡世入邊啊，點樣啊？拗着即係中意咁解，嗰個樂字係讀拗啊嚇，拗即係解喜歡咁解，喜歡貪愛，拗着諸欲所有嘅慾望，諸即係所有，如是等眾生啊，如是等眾生呢啲咁嘅眾生啊，終不求佛道，佢哋永遠都唔會相信要了生脱死，永遠唔會相信要離苦嘅，永遠唔會點啊？永遠唔會咧。去求菩薩道，亦都唔會點啊？上求佛道，下化眾生。點解？因為個諸欲太強，因為喺呢個五濁惡世入邊啊，打滾得太厲害。Okay, so this is the end part of chapter 2. He said, in the evil world of the five pollutions, only attachment and desires is delighted in this kind of being. What kind of being? Being who are rolling in the five pollutants or in the five turbidities of the world, and who are delighted in pursuing, in running after all the desires. They will never seek the Buddha way. And let alone seeking the Buddha way, they don't even want to come out of their own sufferings, of their own attachment. They don't even understand, or they don't even realize that they are attached so much to the desires. 你哋自己問心一下，你自己問心一下，你有冇喺呢個欲樂上面打滾？ I want you to ask yourself a hearty question, a real honest question. Have you rolled yourself in this kind of desires? 舉手啊！都好老實啊，嗬！啊，你哋唔舉嗰啲咧，我就當你唔識答我嚇，又或者你唔知，又或者你怕醜嚇。不過你自己心知肚明啦。點解我要你舉手咧？就係想你自己同自己老實。我唔怕喺大眾度承認我喺呢個慾望嗰度打滾，因為點解咧？當你能夠老實面對自己嘅時候咧，同埋喺別人面前你能夠講得出嚟，希望點啊？希望你有機會 多啲機會提醒自己。實在我唔會記得你邊個有舉手，邊個冇舉手嘅，我唔會記，亦都我冇咁嘅精神去記，亦都唔需要記。但係當你能夠喺大眾度，你能夠舉起手嘅話，即係話你對自己都有少少誠實，你都願意去承認呢樣嘢。Okay, why I ask you to put up your hand, I wouldn't know which one put up your hand. I won't remember and I don't spend energy to try to remember. But when you put up your hand, you are being honest to yourself. When with that little bit of honesty, that's the hope, that's the possibility, that's the hope that you will remember to really change. Okay? OK 啦，呢個五濁惡世，大家如果你哋讀阿彌陀經讀到滾瓜爛熟嘅，你都知道五濁惡世係乜啦。不過我都好想喺呢度咧解釋一下呢個五濁究竟係乜嘢。So for some of I know the Chinese Buddhists, they are very, very fluent in the 5 pollutants. They know which are the 5. Okay, but I was still explaining which are the 5, so I can see your big smile. All right. Okay. 第一濁叫做劫濁。The first turbidity or pollutants is called the kalpa. Kalpa 呢個劫濁咧，即係乜嘢咧？濁即係代表乜嘢咧？濁即係代表唔乾淨。濁即係代表煩惱你諗下啦，你哋有冇人養過魚啊？嗰陣時魚缸污糟啦、濁啦，你屋企人咪會叫你換缸水啦，係咪啊？或者你洗菜啦，或者你洗碗啊，嗰盤水好濁啊，換咗佢啦。So what is turbid? Turbid, that means it's not clean, it's not clear, right? So you need to change the water. If you're using the turbid water to keep washing your dishes or your clothes will be even dirtier, right? Okay? So 劫濁即係話咩咧？劫濁即係話而家呢個世紀呢個時代好危險，好多困厄，有可能有飢餓，可能有疾病，可能有戰爭。即係戰爭不止，疾病不止。初期咧就係點樣咧？初期咧就開始喺劫濁入邊咧，初期開始咧就係只係饑緊嘅啫，即係話點啊？唔夠食物咁你實在而家睇下咧，我哋好似好多食物咁，係咪啊？我哋而家仲係好多食物，好似未去到劫濁啊！你以為咧？有啲地方都係已經劫濁嘅。喺非洲有啲地方，或者中國有啲深山咧，都已經係根本係劫濁，或者點啊？或者就有啲咩啊？有旱災，有蝗蟲，一嚟就劫濁㗎啦。呢個係饑緊。So what is the kalpa turbidity means? That means there could be hunger, there could be famine, there could be lack of food. All right? You think that, no, we have a lot of food here. Yes, we do. We are fortunate in Canada. We have a lot of food. Or in Hong Kong, we have a lot of food. But still, there are a lot of paupers. There are a lot of places that the people don't have food. OK? 好啦，從呢個饑緊之後咧，就到乜嘢咧？喺劫濁入邊，大家估唔估到啊？有冇人講啊？ So after the famine, after the lack of food, what do you think it will follow in the kalpa turbidity? 未個劫濁都未講完，饑緊之後做乜嘢啊？喺劫濁入邊生病啊、疾病啊、瘟疫啊。So after the lack of food that follows in kalpa turbidity is 係咪 epidemic 啊？嗰個叫做 pandemic 啊 ？pandemic 定 epidemic 啊 ？pan 多啲啊 pandemic like illness that follows after the lack of food pandemic 啊。 即係疫病啊，係 pandemic 啊 ，pan 係全部嘛，嗬啊！你睇下，實在而家係喺劫軸入邊啊！你睇下而家幾多病啊，尤其是 cancer。舊陣時我記得後生嗰陣時咧，譬如30個人先有一個人 cancer， 10幾年前就話10個人有一個，而家係舊年啊係4個人入邊有一個，4個人入邊有一個 cancer。你諗下，而家係咪去到呢個劫軸入邊嘅疫病嘅軸入邊啊？Oh, so this is the, or you can call epidemic or you can call pandemic, but look at nowadays, it's actually pandemic. Look at cancer. When I was younger, I remember it's like 1 in 30 or 1 in 40 would have cancer. Last year, I think they have a research out is 1 in 4 or 1 in 3. Oh wow, yeah. You see, that is the one of these culprit turbidity already. 好啦，疫病之後就到乜嘢？疫仲喺劫軸入邊喎。疫之後到乜嘢？你猜下？有啲世界上邊有啲地方已經係亂啊，冰劫啊！啊，你睇下係咪啊？你睇下嗰個叫東亞西亞係咪？即係阿富汗啊、Iran 啊嗰頭嗰啲係咪已經打仗啦？打到蘇丹啊嗰邊咪打到傻啦？係咪嗰邊已經係點啊？冰劫啊 ！So after the pandemic, guess what's coming up in the culprit turbidity? Food, sickness, war. You can see now it's happening in the Middle East, right? That's war. Okay? 好啦，所以咧就係劫軸呢個時代咧係越嚟越唔好嘅，越嚟越唔好嘅。嗱，到刀兵劫啊，以前就叫刀兵劫啊，而家係叫點啊？荷槍實彈核武乜嘢咩武啊？嗰啲我都唔知叫咩武啦，化武啊！化武嗰啲全部都係點啊？人與人之間係點啊？互相殘殺，人與人之間互相殘殺，唔係互相愛護，唔係互相支持啊！呢個就係劫軸。So during the war, turbidity, people killing each other. Okay, that's the 劫軸啊 ，that's the culprit turbidity. Okay, the second one is 見軸 the view turbidity. View turbidity 咧就係乜嘢咧？就係我哋係邪思邪説啦。邪思邪説見軸咧，即係話見啊嘛，見即係點啊？知見啊，知見即係話點啊？思維上邊啊亂啦，思想上面亂啦。嗱，你睇到啦，我哋而家呢個係咪見軸嘅世界啊？幾多人嘅思維出咗問題啊？點解有啲人成日揸支槍去殺人啫？點解啊？點解一陣又話要打仗啫？點解一陣又話要加關稅啫？點解啊？呢個咪就係見軸咯。呢個就係見軸。呢啲邪知邪見嘅人咪就係點啊？個腦袋出咗問題啊！嗰個唔係智慧嚟㗎，嗰個係邪知邪見。就算你佛法都係㗎，就算基督教都係啊。幾多邪師啊？幾多人利用佛法去成為邪師？所以你話我唔知你近呢2日有冇睇到消息啊？但係又出一個大煲啦。咁究竟係真嘅假？根本係唔需要由我哋去批判，唔需要由我哋批判。但係就係話，無論係真係假，點解會出現呢啲咁嘅事咧？就係點解？知見不正確啊！知見不正確，就冇咗個正知正見嘅時候咧，就會點啊？走邪路，走歪路啦。So what is the view turbidity? That means people are all mixed up in here. The views are wrong. When the views are wrong, remember the Eightfold Noble Path? 記得八聖道嘛？第一個係咩啊？正見嘛，係咪啊 So remember the Eightfold Noble Path? What is the first path? The first one of the path is the right view, isn't it? So without a right view, that means it's wrong. If it's a wrong view, which path are you going to walk on? It's definitely a wrong path. A path that is veer off from the right Dharma, from the truth. OK？ 當你邪思邪法嘅時候咧，呢個世界就會亂㗎啦。啊，所以點解啊？點解成日要大家要每日起身啊，要發願就係點啊？願我遇到嘅係正法，願我碰到嘅就係善知識好同學啊！如果唔係嘅話咧，你碰到嘅你都唔知係正法定邪法，咁你又碰到嘅都唔知係咪好師同埋好同學嘅時候，你點啊？你自己又蒙查查半桶水，唔識嘅時候點啊？一盲眼中盲眼人就火坑啦！我睇下哇出邊啲所謂啲學術嚇死你㗎，真係好點啊？好 glamorous 啊！好 glamorous 即係叫咩？即係好靚啊！裝裱得好靚啊！你就以為真係正法喺度講，正法嗰啲人冇人去聽啊，邪法嗰啲大把人去聽。你睇真係會㗎。點解啊？邪法得道嘛。所以要小心啊。OK， 唔好立亂去聽，唔好立亂去睇啊。So in the view turbidity in this era, there are a lot of all those improper views, wrong views. Those people who actually teach a lot of wrong views. That's why every morning when you get up, when you wake up, after you pay respect to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha, and make a vow. Make a vow, may I continue to walk on the right path, may I encounter the right teachers, may I have the company of the right friends, right Dharma friends. If you make a vow like that, you're actually protecting yourself all the time, constantly protecting yourself. If you don't do that, then you forget. And sometimes you would not have this ability to make it out whether this is proper or this is improper. Because it's so glamorous. A lot of those improper teachings are really glamorous, are really big jargons, right? And big books. And you think, wow, this is wonderful. You have to be very careful. So the first thing, you make a vow so that you will encounter these wonderful teachers, you encounter wonderful teachings, and you encounter wonderful, proper Dharma friends. OK？ 好啦，第三咧就叫煩惱族啦。This is the third one, is the affliction turbidity or the affliction pollutants. 咩叫做煩惱咧？煩惱即係話貪嗔痴慢疑啫嘛。啊，好似而家咁啦，嗱你哋啦，嗱蒙查查啦。瞌眼瞓啦，係咪？蒙查查聽唔到啦，聽唔到即係話點啊？你聽唔到嘅時候咧，你就會蒙啦、污啦。污嘅時候咧，好多嘢咧，你全部咧點啊？模糊啊，模糊啊！所以啊，嗱，而家貪嗔痴慢疑啊，呢啲全部都係煩惱。一有呢啲煩惱嘅時候，我哋就會點樣啊？我哋就好容易點啊？好容易咧。同人哋有爭拗啦，啊，好啦，同人哋有爭拗啦，又追隨自己嘅慾望啦，又吝嗇啦，又嫉妒啦，又驕傲啦，又懷疑啦，總之你一個水蛇春咁長喺馬喺度數啦，你可以數得盡啦，數唔盡啊！煩惱眾生啊，全部都係點啊？迷惑你㗎，全部都係遮蓋住你，就等於一個大嘅，好似一個大嘅窗簾，你完全睇唔到嘢，完全唔知道，唔知道前面條路點行啦，咁你點去咧？你點去成佛啊？你唔好講成佛添啊，你點去斷煩惱咧？ 係咪？所以喺呢個時候，呢個世界實在好多時候都係煩惱族嘅，因為點解？你睇到嘅，你睇而家嘅殺業幾重，殺盜淫啊！你睇啲人而家邊好似嗰陣時去偷你2分錢5分錢㗎？而家係叫 cyber robbery 啊！嗰啲 cyber 即係點講啊？ransomware 啊，嗰啲叫做哇，嗰啲叫咩話？海盜，你都唔識㗎，唔識英文啊。總之就係全部都係網上去偷你嘢嘅。你諗下，而家嗰啲人你投咩人腦精鬼腦靈啊？嗰啲人腦做出嚟嗰啲電腦啊，真係鬼腦嚟嘅，係咪啊？唔係鬼佬啊，係鬼佬啊！嗰啲人腦精鬼腦靈啊！你知唔知佢哋簡直係點啊？係無敵嘅。佢哋嗰啲神通啊，真係大到不得了啊！呢啲係點解？點解會係咁樣啊？因為貪嗔痴慢疑全部出晒嚟，先至會做啲咁嘅嘢啫嘛。點解佢會走去有嗰啲咁嘅叫 ransomware， 即係嗰啲叫做咩勒索嘅軟件啦？點解啊？因為貪心啫嘛。你唔貪心點會去勒索啊？你唔貪心點會去綁架人啊？係咪啊？一定係貪心啊！所以你睇下而家啲殺業，而家啲人咩都諗得出嘅你睇下啲雞牛豬馬，一日殺幾多隻你諗下？點解要食要咁多啫？點解要食咁多肉啊？我記得我有個朋友啊，佢以前佢食素白人嚟嘅，醫生話唔得喎，你啲血指數咁低，你又生 cancer， 你要打啲 cancer 藥唔得喎，你都要食翻肉啊咁。咁佢話好啦，你話俾我聽，我1個禮拜要食幾多安士肉啊？醫生話俾我4安士，4安士魚肉啫。你諗下，你一日都唔止食4安士啦。如果你係食肉嗰啲，我有個朋友個仔啊，一餐可以食30安士牛扒。你唔好理啊，30安士啊，係啊，你出親去香港都係㗎啦，16安士一塊牛扒㗎嘛，啲大扒係㗎香港。然後咧，佢太太食唔晒嗰啲，佢食埋佢㗎。你唔好話你嗱，佢善根深厚啊。佢食咗齋半年啦，佢一夜就食素啦。佢仲叫佢阿媽叫佢啲細佬啊，你唔好再食肉啦咁喎。哇！我都為之驚歎啊！即係可以咁樣。就係點解佢突然間嗰個貪欲少咗啦嘛？佢係咪可以唔食肉咯？所以呢個煩惱族啊，我哋要好小心啊！因為我哋好多時都係因為呢個煩惱族而令到自己同別人嘅關係咧係惡化嘅啫，就係因為自己個分別心、自己個虛狂、自己嗰個妄自己嗰個疑等等令到自己咧同別人家個關係咧差。Okay, so this affliction turbidity. What is this affliction turbidity? That means people like have a lot of greed, anger, animosity, doubts, and all that. So this is all sentient beings start to dwell in all these desires, and they become stingy, they fight, they want to win, they want more territories, they want to be the king of the world, and so forth, so like this. So they are totally covered or totally blinded by all these afflictions. So anything could cause all these defilements, all these afflictions. Okay, so nowadays you can see killing, stealing, and as Henry said just now, there's not just stealing like 10 cents or $10. There are like cyber attacks, ransomware, right? Why would people have developed ransomware? Because they are greedy for money. They're greedy for fame, right? Why? Because they are greedy. So and then adultery, and then all these wandering thoughts and pornography and everything. It's all come from a defiled mind. Okay? 好啦，眾生族 living beings turbidity is very, very, very difficult to actually just look at this living beings turbidity. That means the mind doesn't believe in cause and effect, and so they are not afraid of any consequences of their own actions. So they don't care. They don't care what they do, because they don't think that they will have to bear the consequences. And also they are very lacking of the wholesome seeds. Okay, so that is called 眾生族. That is called a living being's turbidity. 咩叫眾生族咧？眾生族即係話咧，呢啲眾生係缺乏善根，完全缺乏善根。然後咧仲有啲咩啊？唔相信因果嘅。我哋睇到好多人都唔相信因果㗎，而家係咪啊？ We see a lot of people who don't believe in this cause and effect thing, right? Otherwise they won't behave like that. 啊！佢哋仲講得好似真足足添喎，仲講得好似有實實似喎，唔關佢事嘅喎，就係唔明白呢個因果，亦都點解佢講到實實似佢自己冇錯咧？因為佢真係唔明白因果，亦都可以咁講，佢心底裏真係未必相信因果。如果唔係咧，一定唔會咁做嘅。So a lot of people would, even though they are saying that, oh yeah, there is cause and effect, but it literally deep down in the mind they might not believe in cause and effect. Otherwise they wouldn't behave like this. If people really think that they totally believe in cause and effect, why would they have such a defiled mind? Why would they get angry with people? Why would they create so much difficulty for themselves and for others? Why? Because deep down they don't believe. There is this really, really deep down disbelieving. 如果一個人真係深信因果嘅話，每一步都好小心，每起一個念頭都會好小心。唔會咁隨便起一個惡念啊，唔會咁隨便開口罵人，唔會咁隨便個心成日都喺度嬲人，唔會嘅。所以檢查一下自己係咪真係深信因果呢樣嘢。呢個係眾生族啊！你睇下咧，實在眾生族咧就亦都好包括好多嘢嘅，好多就包括點樣咧？又唔孝順父母啦，又唔修福德啦，又唔老實啦，諸如此類嘅嘢。總之你諗下啦，眾生有嗰啲煩惱就全部喺個眾生族入邊啦。So in this living beings turbidity, it's also include that you are not paying piety to parents, you are not honest. Anything that is come from a defiled mind could also be counted into this. 眾生族sentient beings turbidity, okay? 命族 life turbidity. 咩叫命族咧？而家我哋呢個時代咧，過咗100歲就叫做長命啦。70歲咧就叫中年。而家嚇。100歲咧就叫長命，但係最長命嗰個就係前幾日死咗嗰個117歲啫。我哋已經話哇咁長命，我話俾你聽啊！以前嘅人幾多歲啊？以前嘅人84000歲啊，係咪啊？以前嗰啲人幾長命啊？邊有好似我哋而家咁短命？我哋正式嘅短命鬼啊！仲笑喎！點而家呢個命族即係話我哋嘅人嘅命越嚟越短啊！你睇下佛陀就已經示現咗俾我哋睇，80歲就走啦。但係佛嘅以前嘅命係84000歲啊！ 係咪啊？咁所以咧，而家我哋有咩用啊？嚇，我哋個人壽就越嚟越短嚇，所以呢個叫命續啦。So what is this life turbidity means? That means the lifespan, our lifespan. Look, now at 70 we call middle age. 100-year-old you call old age. Right? So one of the old age, really old age lady died a few days ago. She was 117. The oldest person on earth, 117, died 4 days ago. But in the past, how old were all those beings? 84,000 years old. 84,000 years old. We have a really short life, right? And so actually Buddha actually presented to us, he died when he was 80. So that was already illustrating the life turbidity, right? Because it's turbid, that's why it's so short. 因為佢污糟，所以先咁命短。OK？ 所以你睇下，我哋由朝到晚喺呢個五濁入邊打滾嘅。你睇下呢個世界出邊就係叫五濁惡世啊。So this outside world is called the world with 5 turbidities, 5 pollutants. Can we live in a world with turbidity but with sanity? 我哋能唔能夠喺五濁惡世入邊啊，可以潔身自愛啊？得唔得啊？有人話唔得喎。You say yes? Yes? Good. There is hope, right? Yes. Of course there is hope. 如果你話唔得，咁我學佛做乜嘢咧？學佛做乜嘢啊？ So if you cannot maintain the sanity in this world of turbidities, why do we need to practice then? The practices allow us to maintain the sanity as much as possible in the midst of chaos, in the midst of turbidities. 學佛修行就係讓我哋可以喺個濁入邊維持一點清醒啊！所以學佛有咁殊勝嘅功德就係啦嚇。OK， 好啦，我哋差唔多到結尾啦，但係仲有10張幻燈片。Now we are almost towards the end. I still have 10 slides. Okay, but anyway, no. Well， 呢個咧就係第2卷好殊勝嘅一個講法啊，就係大家睇咧，舍利弗當知，諸佛法如是。我頭先講咗咁多呵，到最尾佛陀講話俾我哋聽，實在我哋係點啊？我哋有機會成佛嘅。呢個亦都係《法華經》其中一個中心思想，一個要義，就係我哋個人都有機會成佛。佢話舍利弗當知，諸佛法如是，以萬億方便。Sorry, I should let you read the English. It's on page 102. Okay, 102 if you want to read it. 以萬億方便隨宜而說法，其不習學者不能曉了此。汝等既已知諸佛世之師，隨宜方便是無復諸疑惑。你哋唔好懷疑，唔好懷疑。心生大歡喜，自知當作佛啊！你哋應該個個都生一個大歡喜心，開心心，因為點解啊？你知道啊，你將來會成佛㗎。呢個係佛陀同舍利弗講嘅，所以舍利弗到最尾就話：哎呀，原來我都有望㗎。係之前佢以為冇望啊，淨係同聲聞緣覺講啊，我冇望㗎喎。原來到最尾佢話：舍利弗，你唔使擔心啊！我講嘅所有方便咧，都係因為點啊？隨機而説法嘅啫。因為如果我唔隨機而説法，嗰啲人咧就唔會明白，唔明白咧就唔會趨向佛道，唔趨向佛道就唔能夠成佛啦。所以佢係舍利弗，你唔使擔心啊！ 心生大歡喜，自知當作佛咧，你應該有生大歡喜心啊！因為點解？你自己知道你將來都可以成佛㗎，所以你都應該要知道你將來都可以成佛㗎。Okay, this is the English. It said it should be understood, Shariputra, that the Dharma of the Buddha is like this. With trillions of skillful means in accord with what is good, they teach the Dharma. Those who have not practiced and studied it cannot fully understand this. That's why there are so many skillful deeds. But all of you, knowing that the Buddha, the teachers of the world, use skillful means according to what is appropriate, should have no doubt. Should have no doubt in what? Should have no doubt. Your heart should be filled with great joy, for you know that you too will become Buddha. You should not have any doubt that you will also become Buddha. So the Buddha said to Sariputra, all these skillful means are skillful means to lead those people who are so ignorant from this lesser path, lesser vehicles, to this one big Buddha vehicle, so that eventually all of you will become Buddha. So Sariputra, oh, yes, I can become Buddha too. That's one great, very, very important core thinking of Lotus Sutra, is all of us will become Buddha. OK， 所以呢個亦都係《法華經》一個好重要嘅思想，就係話，亦都好重要嘅message 言辭，就係話我哋係會成佛㗎。所以 keeping your hope high， 保持你哋個希望，唔好話喺五濁惡世入邊冇得修，知唔知啊？好有得修㗎。嗱，常不輕菩薩話啊嘛，汝等皆當作佛嘛，係咪 ？So in this world of pollutants, remember, keep our hope high, but walk on the path that one day we will become Buddha. 好啦，今晚到講呢度咧就話，我哋讀法華經，我哋學法華經，我哋讀法華經。咁我哋如何用法華經嚟修行咧？咁聖嚴法師咧喺法華經入邊咧，佢總結咗有60個修行方法。我唔詳盡將佢列出嚟，我只係約略格講少少出嚟。So we are almost towards the end of the recitation of the Lotus Sutra. And Venerable Yin of Dharma Drum, he actually detailedly studied the Lotus Sutra, and he actually write it out. He said there are 60 ways to implement the teachings of Lotus Sutra into your practice. 60. I'm not going to detailedly expound it, but I'm going to show you some of the way that he actually taught, and then I'm going to give you a summary. 第一就為他人說此法華經。The first is to expound this teaching. 第二就係受持此經。The second is abide by the teachings. 第三就讀誦此經 to recite this sutra. 第四就供養此經及供養寶塔 offering to this sutra and offering to the stupa. 得心智慧修習禪定 so attain the very deep wisdom and also deep meditation. 頭面禮足讚歎功德，頭面禮足即係拜頂禮法華經。So pay respect to the Lotus Sutra and 讚歎功德。That means and rejoice in the merits of the Lotus Sutra. 自書教人書 We write the sutra, or we teach others to write the sutra. In the Chinese, there is a practice, we use the calligraphy to copy. You can copy that in English too. Yeah, of course. Okay? 持大乘戒及精進勇猛 Because you have learned from the Lotus Sutra, you can start to actually abide by the Mahayana precepts and also practice diligently. 廣聞如來法及低頭合掌 So spread your wings to learn the Dharma, the Mahayana Dharma, and also constantly be very humble. Lower your head and always put your palms together when you see a sutra. 着忍辱海，恭敬諸佛，信受信解及起塔供養。That means cultivate tolerance to unpleasant things and people and situations. 恭敬諸佛 pay respect to all the Buddhas. 信受信解 abide by them, have faith in them, have confidence. 起塔供養 support to build stupas, offers to build temples. 如說修行 follow the teachings to practice. 獨處山林靜處，大慈悲心、柔和心護持法藏。So find a place so that you can actually practice quietly, cultivate the compassionate heart, a soft heart, and then protect all the sutra, all the Dharma. 布施清明念佛瞻仰專顏。布施 that means offering, generosity. 清明念佛 recite the Buddha's name or recite the sutra's name. 瞻仰專顏 that means 瞻 that means 望，仰即係抬頭 that means respect all the Buddhas. 集中聽法及隨喜 So gather all people to listen to the Dharma and also rejoice in the gathering. 呢個係聖嚴法師其中講《法華經》如何可以修行《法華經》嘅其中一啲。These are some of the way that Venerable Yin Kit gathered together on how to implement the Lotus Sutra into our practice. But in the Lotus Sutra, there are 5 practices that it constantly throughout the whole sutra, it talks about how you actually should practice, how you should actually implement the practice from the Lotus Sutra or from any sutra into your daily practice. 實在喺《法華經》整部《法華經》入邊都有講過，有幾項最大嘅幾項，我哋如何去修持佛法，如何用經去修持，喺我哋日常中點修持。第一個就係修持。我一陣會清楚啲講呢個受持修持嚇。咁受持即係話喺日常生活中，我哋依呢個經教俾我哋嘅所有嘢如何喺日常生活中咧改變我哋自己嘅生活。So the first is abide by the teachings and how to actually implement that, put that into practice. 咁第二咧就係讀啦。The second is to read, to keep on reading. 讀咧，好多人都話：我都唔明㗎，我唔讀啦咁。你哋唔好因為唔明而唔讀經。我話俾你聽，你越讀你越會明㗎，你越唔讀你就越唔明㗎。所以你一定要讀。我在會入邊咧，有一個人我識佢嘅時候咧，佢中文係唔叻嘅。佢初嚟寶林，我記得係我哋持靈驗咒咁咧佢就遲到，佢都唔知我哋持緊乜嘅。總之佢就坐喺度聽我哋。你知唔知佢而家可以睇中文嘅經？就係點解啊？一味讀啫嘛，一味又成日都係咁讀，成日咁讀，咁佢又去佛堂，咁又係咁讀，所以佢而家可以睇到中文經。你而家係睇全部中文都識睇啦，係咪？我諗佢全部中文都識睇，因為佢而家係睇緊中文嘅《法華經》佢今日喺度㗎，我估係阿 Winnie 演納所以佢真係初嚟跟住佢一個字都唔識㗎，佢都唔係一個字唔識，佢半堂翻嚟㗎嘛，佢真係我睇住佢真係好陰功啊，大汗揼細汗㗎喎，嗰啲你啲一靈唔就幾艱難啊真係嗰陣時真係唔識佢講咩㗎而家識啦而家佢可以讀到靈驗咒，背到未啊？未背到，讀到曬啦讀到你大家《法華經》可以睇曬中文。So read the sutra. I always tell you, even though you don't understand, read it. Every day you read. Eventually, the more you read, the more you will understand. Winnie, when she first came to Po Lam, she doesn't know many Chinese words. Now she can read the whole sutra in Chinese. See? I don't expect you to read in Chinese, okay? But because she's Chinese, the parents talk Chinese to them, so it's easier for her to. But at least now she can actually read. She knows. So don't be afraid to read, even though you don't understand, okay? 誦咧就係讀出聲咁解，或者咧有啲祖師大德話誦實在係背啊，背誦啊嘛，嚇，所以背誦就 recite， really read it out loud，OK？ 書寫 write copy 啊 copy 啊，解説 explain or expound。我哋一陣再睇，咁我自己加多咗咧恭敬禮拜。呢個咧就係受持、讀誦、書寫、解説，就係喺整部《法華經》入邊咧，實在都係好多時都你都睇到啦。我咧就加埋恭敬禮拜落去，因為我覺得拜經係一件好好嘅事嚟。咁希望大家咧可以有機會咧去拜《法華經》，一字一拜。拜法華經，就如果你日日拜佛嘅話，你倒不如去拜經。譬如你話你拜心經啊，咁你咪拜法華經咯。希望你盡呢一生都拜一部，6萬幾字啫，唔係好多啊。唔係好多㗎咋，一年拜晒啦可能。6萬幾字，一年365日，一日拜可能拜唔到啊，拜200定2000啊？2000啊要嗬？200啊？6萬幾300幾？要200都唔係好多啫喎，唔係好多啫喎，咁可以拜下法華經啊。So I added this respectfully prostrating. You can actually try to use this as you can actually prostrate the Lotus Sutra. One word you pay one prostration. Second word that you pay prostration. Part you pay that prostration. Or you can use one phrase. The English ones is a little bit difficult. Maybe the one whole sentence and you do one prostration. Then you will not break it up too much that they don't understand. Okay, but the Chinese is easier. Okay, 好啦，我想大家去詳細睇一睇呢個受持，好嘛？I want you to actually look at it a little bit deeper in the abide by. 佛陀喺《法華經》喺入邊講到咧，受持呢度咧就係講如說修行嗰度。實在咧喺入邊有好多個講喺第261 English， 喺安樂行品啊，喺安樂行品嗰度咧就講如說修行。實在呢度咧就係教我哋點樣咧？呢個受持咧就係教我哋發乜嘢？發一個菩薩心，修菩薩行。So the abide is actually helping us to actually develop in the Bodhisattva path. If you start to abide by the teachings of the Lotus Sutra, it's actually allowing yourself to walk on the Bodhisattva path. And the chapter 14 is safe and easy practices. In the Sanskrit, it's called Sukha Vihara. That means it brings joy. Okay? 所以安樂行品係乜嘢？安樂行品咧就係話，當你喺用呢一品去受持去用嘅話咧，你會點啊？會變得好自在、好安穩、好快樂、好自在。所以叫安樂行品，就係第14品。咁佢安樂行品入邊咧就有4安樂嘛嚇。第一就係新安樂。There are four vihara, 4 Sukha Vihara. The first Sukha Vihara, I want to use Sukha Vihara, it's easier. Okay, the first Sukha Vihara is the physical Sukha Vihara. Okay, 新安樂行品。咩叫新安樂行品咧？即係話咧，我哋會點啊？我哋離開嗰啲，讓我哋會點啊？會掉落一個不善嘅身行入邊，即係做不善嘅新嘅行為嗰啲地方嗰度。 咁即係點啊？我哋遠離啲咩啊？遠離嗰啲惡人啦，遠離邪法啦，遠離邪人啦，遠離一啲遊戲咧係好危險啊，或者令到你咧嗰啲笨豬針啊，係咪叫做笨豬跳啊、笨豬針啊嗰啲咧？嗰啲實在係好危險嘅嘢，亦都係我哋實在唔應該玩嘅嘢嚟嘅。即係離開呢啲，就令到你個點啊？令個身體咧，令個身體有種安穩，有種自在。你諗下，你笨豬跳啊！我嗰次喺澳門，因為我過澳門講生死教育，我見到做咩？點解啲人喺個塔上邊跳嚟跳去嘅？我嗰啲咩嚟？我從來唔知原來嗰啲叫笨豬跳，係咪叫笨豬跳啊？嚇！個笨豬跳做咩咧？咁實在嚇到你自己咧，真係個心卜卜跳，點解好玩啫？Have you heard of something called 英文叫咩啊？笨豬針啊 ！You know what is that? They jump from high building and bounce. I saw that in Macau when I went to teach an end of life. I said, what is that? They said it's called bungee jump. I said, wow, bungee jump? That is very stupid. 真係笨啊，係咪啊？真係好傻啊！點會跳啲咁嘅嘢啫？心臟病都嚟，you can have a heart attack. This is not the right kind of game. This is not creating any sukha, physical sukha vihara. 明嘛？嚇？所以 sukha vihara is you distance away from the unwholesome people. You distance away from unwholesome games. You distance away from dangerous games. All these are causing no sukha, dukkha. 嚇，嗰啲實在係讓你更苦嘅嚇。OK， 咁第二咧就係口安樂行啦。第二個安樂行咧就係口啦。The second sukha vihara is verbal sukha vihara. Verbal 即係話點啊？我哋唔好口説咁多個嚇。點解唔好口説咁多個咧？因為我哋每説一個嘅時候咧，實在係讓我哋嘅心咧嗰個心過咧係強化咗嘅。同埋咧，如果譬如你過往咧有人對你唔住咧，唔好由朝到晚都講啊！你每講一次咧，實在你係增加咗心嗰種不忿嘅多一次。過去已經過去，你仲講嚟做咩咧？嚇，望向將來吧，係咪啊？嚇，又唔好大言不慚，又唔好講埋啲嘢唔事實嘅，又唔好講埋啲。唔好用惡口，又唔好用粗言。咁你諗下，即係你個嘴巴都香啲啦，係咪啊？係咪啊？所以呢個口業啊，收口業好緊要。The second is the verbal sukha vihara. That means you what? You say honest thing. You don't say rough words. You don't curse. You don't scold. You don't whatever that is. Not causing, not bringing up wholesome verbal manners, okay? Especially for those past experience and bitter experience, don't keep on talking about that bitter experience, because whenever you talk about it, that means you haven't let go, and also it strengthened one more time your mental power on that, okay? 咁第三咧就係意安樂行品，意即係思維咯。意安樂行品咧，即係話咧，讓我哋咧遠離乜嘢咧？遠離狂妄，遠離擾亂，遠離鬥爭，遠離誇張、諂曲啊！諂曲即係話誇張咁解。讓我哋自己點樣咧？即係話讓我哋個心好平穩咁解。個心好平穩，好安靜，呢個係心嚟嘅。所以點解頭先話點解你個嘴巴要收嘴巴？就係最重要就係你要收心先。如果你收到心嘅時候，你嘴巴想講你都唔會講嘅，就係因為個心唔收咧，所以嘴巴就唔收。所以如果中意講大話啦，中意鬧人啦，中意喺度全部都冚唪唥都喺度講是講非啦，或者唔應該講嘅嘢講嗰啲嘅話咧，你即係話你個心唔夠靜， 點解咧？你個心唔夠靜，你就中意講嘢噶啦。所以你好緊要嘅呢個口業要收口業啊。有問題啊？哦，OK。The third is the mental sukha vihara. Mental sukha vihara, that means you don't want to exaggerate, you don't want to hate people, you don't want to be dishonest, all in the mind. In the mind, okay? So if you are quiet in the mind, right here, in your verbal behavior, you will be quiet. You won't talk too much, okay? So you're always like contain yourself. You can contain yourself very easily. You don't have to force to contain yourself because you just naturally keep quiet. Okay? 當你個心能夠恬靜嘅時候，你自然個人唔會嗶嗶巴巴噶啦，嚇。Okay? 咁第四咧就叫做誓願安樂行啦。咩叫誓願安樂行咧？即係話咧，如果我哋能夠喺《法華經》入邊咧聽得到嘅話，聽得到《法華經》所講嘅咧，我哋就係知道我哋咧要培養我哋個覺知，培養我哋嘅慈悲心，再培養我哋要發好嘅善願，發大嘅善願。希望喺呢個《法華經》實踐《法華經》入邊咧，我哋好好收攝自己，收攝自己咧，讓自己點啊？日日都喺個安樂自在嗰個境況入邊。The fourth one is vow sukha vihara. That means you make a wish every day. What kind of wish is, I wish I will use the Lotus Sutra to develop my awareness. I will use the Lotus Vihara teachings to develop my compassion, to become softer, to become more compassionate, to become more understanding, to become more forgiving. So this is actually a vow, a wishes. 哇，9點半啦，未講晒喎，唔講咯。Okay, so these are the way that you can actually use to abide by the teachings of the Lotus Sutra. 講唔晒啦，今日唔好講住啦。Okay, I cannot finish tonight, so never mind. Wait until one day we can have a chance to finish this. Okay, the last, I want you to look at this slide. 法華經教我哋講，乃至以一花供養於畫像，漸見無數佛。So with the Lotus Sutra is that with even a flower, mix an offering to a painted image or to a Buddha, they will progressively see countless Buddhas. So remember what the Lotus Sutra teach us. Remember what the Lotus Sutra promised us. It promised us that we will become a Buddha. But it is not an empty promise, but who can fulfill that promise? 邊個喺《法華經》講，佢話眾生皆可成佛，呢個係一個答允嚟嘅，一個 promise 嚟嘅，一個承諾嚟嘅。實在呢個承諾係邊個答允？邊個承諾你咧 ？Who make that promise? Who? Yourself. Yes, good. 所以啊，好希望大家咧明白啊，我哋所有人，無論你中意嘅，你唔中意，同你嘅合得埋唔合得埋嘅，佢都係有機會成佛嘅。喺呢一刻，無論你係中意佢唔中意佢，都希望如果你唔中意佢嘅話，可以將呢個我見放低落嚟，因為唔好咁傻，唔中意一個未來佛，讓自己心種不善之根。而隨住呢個《法華經》所教，我哋每一天都好似我哋真係手入邊有一朵花咁，去供養諸佛。就係話我哋對每一個人做每一件事， 我哋就用一個覺知心，用一個包容心去面對每一個人、每一件事，咁就實在就係等於你係尊敬緊一個未來佛。咁嘅話就好似呢個天人咁，日日就攞住朵花去供佛。你諗下幾殊勝呢？ So the Lotus Sutra taught us that we all will become a Buddha. So every one of us is a future Buddha. So at this moment, if there is any grudges between you and others, or you don't like them, or you like them, it doesn't really matter. But if you really don't like somebody, look at them as the future Buddha. And why do you have to be so unwise to hate or to dislike a future Buddha? When you dislike a future Buddha, you plant a very unwholesome seed for yourself. You have one more obstacle to overcome. So why don't you be like this deity, this deity, this good woman, to offer a flower to the future Buddha? Offer a compassionate look, offer a compassionate smile, offer a compassionate advice to the future Buddha, rather than a non-compassionate one, rather than an unwholesome one. So we keep planting good seeds into our mind. Okay? 所以記住啦，呢個花花經係教我哋乜嘢？ So what did this Lotus Sutra teach us? 讓我哋開佛之見、視佛之見、悟佛之見、入佛之見啊！ So the whole Lotus Sutra taught us how to open up our mind to take this wonderful one vehicle in, and to demonstrate to us how to practice. And when we practice, we realize, and after we realize, we'll be able to enter the Buddha, the path of the Buddhahood, the Buddha nature, and be able to review, allow this actually to surface. Okay? 呢朵蓮花供養俾你哋。 This lotus flower I offer to all of you, the future Buddha. 你哋每一個都係未來佛。All of you is the future Buddha. I offer this lotus flower to you. I hope you will open up your mind and to actually enter into the Buddhahood. 我供養大家呢一朵蓮花，希望你哋能夠可以真係開佛之見、悟佛之見而進入入佛之見。好啦，我哋回向啦 ，OK。So we will dedicate our merits， 願以此功德普及於一切我等與眾生，皆共成佛道。 May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the living beings together will attain the Buddha way.